Maxime Bernier is the leader of the People's Party of Canada, and he joins me now. Hi, Mr. Bernier. Nice to see you again.
Thanks for the invitation.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I want to start off by asking you about a tweet you sent earlier this week and getting you to explain. I want to read the tweet for our viewers first. You said Trudeau, the Prime Minister, has said we are a post-national country and spends, I think you mean millions, to get a UN security seat and billions in aid in other countries. Is he loyal to Canada or loyal to a future world government that will destroy Canada? What do you mean by world government?
First of all, there's an organization, UN Parliamentary Assembly organization.org. You can go on their website and they promote the establishment of a world parliament. That's a fact, like the European Parliament. And Prime Minister Trudeau in 2010 agreed with that and wanted, like that organization, to have a world parliament that will impose law and regulation on our country. So I think that is a legitimate question to ask the Prime Minister if he still supports that organization.
So I just want to be sure of the facts here. So you're saying that in 2010, the Prime Minister expressed support for
the establishment of a world parliament.
Something separate from, for example, the United Nations Security Council.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you just have to go on UNPA campaign.org. It's an official organization and they're promoting that. And there's also about 50 other members of parliament in Canada that are supporting that. The big difference between me and him, I will always defend the Canadian sovereignty. And, you know, I don't want other countries to decide our legislation in Canada.
So you think that the Prime Minister, I just want to be clear, the Prime Minister wants other countries and or a world parliament to decide legislation that occurs here in Canada, and he's willing to cede Canadian sovereignty for that?
That will be binding. That was in 2010. What I'm asking the journalists, and I'm asking you, ask that question to Prime Minister if he still believes in that today. I think that's a good question to ask.
Are you sure he was saying exactly that explicitly, though, in 2010?
That's the goal.
There are many people who express support, for example, for multilateral institutions, including yourself when you were Foreign Affairs Minister. I think back in 2007, you said the UN remains a key avenue for the international community to encourage positive change. That was your words.
We can sign treaty and agreement with the UN, but I don't believe in a world parliament. You know, it's not. We must keep our sovereignty, and we can sign other treaties with other countries, and we are always a sovereign country. But we must ask that question to Prime Minister. And actually, he said also that he believed that Canada is a post-national state. So if we are a post-national state, and in 2010 he was in agreement with that organization to promote a world parliament with other MPs also. Elizabeth May and other MPs signed that. In 2010, that organization came to Canada and tried to have support from members of parliament.
Is there any evidence, though, as Prime Minister, that he has ceded Canadian sovereignty?
I'm not saying that.
But you're a leader of a national party here, and you're raising this issue on Twitter based on something that you think he meant in 2010. And I'm asking you if there's any evidence now that the Prime Minister wants to cede Canadian sovereignty.
But what he did with the compact at the UN, you know, the government of Canada signed a compact with the UN for the migrations compact, and I was the first one.
That's not legally binding.
Yeah, that's not legally binding. You're absolutely right. But why sign a compact when you don't have the intent to follow their rules and regulation? Why signing that? So what I'm asking today, we must ask the Prime Minister, and I will. The House will be back in a couple of days from now. If he still believe in that, if he still believe in a world parliament like the European Parliament.
But the pact you point to is evidence. I mean, that's supposed to be aspirational. There's a migration problem in the world. It's supposed to ascribe. I mean, there are issues with the pact. I take your point, but you know, it's not supposed to be legally binding.
Yes,
so he's not ceding any sovereignty.
Yeah, but that organization, it's clear on their website. They want law and regulation to be binding to other countries. So that's clear in the goal of that organization.
Okay, we'll leave it there, but I want to move on to...
But ask that question to the Prime Minister. That would be interesting to know the answer.
When I interview him next, we'll see what he says in the House of Commons when you bring it up.